Hey, what's up, fellas? It's Mike, and we're going to go and do a quick video in my house here. For one, I just checked the YouTube channel and realized I was like, oh shit, I haven't done a video in a week. And two, it's about 110 degrees right now in my garage. So I just got back from spending 3 days at Disney, and I don't feel like sweating anymore. But anyway, let's talk about 50 cal a little bit more. Seems to be a pretty hot topic and getting a lot of questions about it. So far, I've shot about 12,000 rounds, maybe a little more than 12,000 rounds of Formula 13 50 caliber paintballs. So I want to start the video really quick and tell you guys that first off, I'm not, there's no GI Milsim that I'm using here. So all of the GI Milsim haters, that are freaking out about everything GI Milsim, there's nothing that I've used yet that's been GI Milsim. I've been begging them to get me some of their guns. I've been dying to get a Nano in my hands since I got it at World Cup. I have had no luck getting a hold of anybody at GI Milsim in terms of getting me a gun. So all of my reviews are 100% GI Milsim proof, okay? There has not been a single thing I've used GI Milsim other than the t-shirt that I won at World Cup. That I own, here at Tech B or here at my house. So there is absolutely no GI Milsim here, okay? I will say on that same token, in terms of making guns and actually making a push for 50 cal, Kingman, in terms of here in the United States, is way ahead of GI Milsim in terms of pushing the 50 cal. So, Kingman's already come out with a whole fleet full of guns. They've got the only good loader right now that's out there for 50 caliber, which is the Rapid, which works great. Once you do the mod that I told everybody to do, which is, saw the bottom off of VL200, but, they've got the guns, they've already got the paint, they've already got the loader. Kingman right now is way ahead of GI Milsim. So all the people that are trying to boycott 50 cal, you need to start boycotting Kingman before you even think about boycotting GI Milsim, especially here in the States. GI Milsim has no presence here in the States really whatsoever. Kingman is way ahead of them. But anyway, since I've shot about 12,000 rounds through it, I've used it in the woods, I've used it in the hyperball field, I've used it on the X-ball field against experienced X-ball players. I didn't tell any of them really that I was using X-ball before, or using 50 cal paintball before I even got out there. What do I think about it so far? I kind of like the format. I mean, call me crazy. I do like the fact that there is an alternative out there. You got to understand, I've been shooting 68 caliber for over 20 years, 22 plus years. I mean, the last 50 caliber paintball I shot was out of a blowgun. So that was the last 50 caliber ball I ever shot. I think it's it's a good alternative for right now. I could certainly see new fields coming out and using 50 caliber as their rental fleets when the rentals are playing against the rentals. One of the biggest things about 50 cal is obviously it hurts less. Now let's talk about something else really quick, okay? We got to get this out there. No, it does not have the range of 68 caliber. Let me say that again. 50 caliber paintballs do not go as far as 68 caliber paintballs, okay? And when they take a little longer to get there, and when they get there, there's a lot less mass, so you're going to get more bounces, okay? And I'm going to get to that because I actually kind of found something out that worked pretty well the other day. But let me just get that out there. So if anybody think that I'm trying to give you guys the magical pixie fairy dust and saying that, 50 caliber paintballs shoot as far as 68, I didn't go out there and long range distance test them, but no, they do not shoot as far. And the biggest thing is they just don't have the mass when they get there to crack the shell. So let me just get that out there right away. But where do I see possibly 50 caliber fitting into paintball? One, if you're a super aggressive player like me, which is probably less than 5% of the paintball public that are out there. I know this because when I go to scenario games, everybody's behind me and Tech will be to the front. Fucking right. But anyway, most paintball players are not aggressive players. So most paintball players are not going to do well with a 50 caliber format. You need to get about 40 feet closer to your opponents than you're used to getting with them with the 68 caliber. You don't have the range. But there are going to be some players that are going to like it. Some of the front players, maybe they play X-ball, are going to really like it. A couple of the other advantages is, one, it's a quieter gun, so it takes a lot less air to shoot the ball, so it's going to be a lot quieter. I mean, dramatically quieter. Also, your gun's a lot lighter. Okay, as you can see right here, this is a full Kingman loader here. And this loader is holds basically, this particular loader holds about as much, I think what is it, 300 to 350 rounds. I haven't actually sat there and counted them. That would take forever. Maybe I'll do that in an upcoming show, but as I know, there are other companies that are coming out with more 50 cal loaders, like the Prophecy. It's coming out with 50 cal. You heard it here on Tech TV. But, in this current setup right here, this is indeed a little bit lighter than if I was using a rotor or if I was using a Prophecy or I was using a Pinocchio or something like that. 350 rounds in here, it does make the gun a lot lighter. What is that, what is the advantage of that? Well, for players, especially some of the younger players, that are, that would like a little bit of a lighter setup, this is definitely going to be the way to go. Also, less pods to carry. Let me talk about that really quick. This was my pack when I was using 50 cal out there on the X-Ball field, okay? These two pods lasted me like 5 games, okay? Because I've got 350 in here, 350 in here, and a little over 300 in my loader already. So I'm going out there carrying over 1,000 rounds. And since you're playing up front, one of two things either happen. Either you're shooting out the other team almost right away, or you're getting shot out right off break. So when I was using 50 cal, I was trying to use as much of the advantages that it gave me in terms of it's a smaller loader, I'm carrying more, it's a smaller pack, so it might be a little bit quicker. But out there playing front on the X-Ball field, it's actually pretty fun. Also, it's obviously a lot more efficient, so you're going to be out there shooting forever before you have to worry about getting paint. Talk about some of the disadvantages I've seen so far. One of the biggest disadvantages in terms of playing against seasoned players is that your opponents don't feel the hits. Okay, so they'll feel it, but they're trained and conditioned to think that something that light is going to be a bounce. So they're not going to come out as often. You're going to have to shoot. You're either going to have to A, shoot them more, or B, you're going to have refs out there, or warn them ahead of time that you're going to be using 50 cal. Just tell them, if they feel something tap off, then they need to double check it and make sure that it was indeed a break. You lose a lot of the range that you do on the 68, and also the bruises and as well as the markings are a little bit smaller. That's what I've seen so far. But let's talk about another thing about 50 cal that I kind of thought of that would take off. A lot of, and this is probably why even Kingman got involved in 50 cal, is because a lot of spiders are using Renegade Ball. Okay, there's a lot of guns that are used, especially some of the cheaper guns, the sub $100 guns that are all used in Renegade Ball. And I know that, a lot of people have real negative thing about Renegade Ball and going out and playing on your own property and this, that, and the other. Look, if you set it up like you do a normal field, okay, if you've got safe zones in terms of once everybody comes back, past a certain point, let's say for instance you go out there and set up a road cone and say, what, once you pass the road cone, you need to make sure your barrel sock is on. If you go, the road cone the other way, then you need to make sure that your mask is on. You can buy a chronograph nowadays for $100. If everybody out there is doing safely and you're not you're not near any sort of hiking trails or mountain biking trails, and you own the land, or you got the permission of the landowner, or there's no wildlife out there that can possibly get injured, no cows, no bulls, no eagles, or anything like that, you go out there and have a pretty good time playing Renegade Ball as long as you do it properly. And you're also not within earshot of the people that may be living close by that could call the police, and also got to make sure that you're not going to be shooting over the trees and hitting cars possibly on a road. I got to do that disclaimer out there. You're saying everybody should go out there and play Renegade Ball without the safety precautions. If you do all of that, Renegade Ball is actually pretty fun. I played Renegade Ball many, many times. Got lots of friends that own lots of land. Gone out there and done it safely. Had a great time. Nobody got hurt. No one got injured. And also, before you play Renegade Ball, I got to do this as a disclaimer because this Tech TV. If you go out there and do Renegade Ball, also go out there and inspect the land before you go out there. You want to make sure there's no bear traps out there. You want to make sure there's no, no stumps that are out there or any sticks that are sticking straight up. That way, if somebody falls over, they might get hurt. So you do all that. I'll do a show one day on Renegade Ball to get a little bit more into detail on how to do it safely. But anyway. Kingman with Renegade Ball. Why would it work out really well for Renegade Ball? Okay, if you've got a couple hundred acres, you're going to go out there and play. Well, obviously, one, the gun's going to be a lot quieter, so you don't have to worry about neighbors calling the police or people hearing it and calling the police wondering what you're doing out there. It doesn't have the range, so you don't have to worry about a stray shot going over the woods. Also, it's going to hurt a lot less. And also, probably the most important things for Renegade Ball, it's going to be more efficient. Most people, when they go and play Renegade Ball, go out there with like one tank. They go to Walmart, Sports Authority, local paintball store, they fill up their tank. And that's all they get. We get like twice as many shots per tank. So I can definitely see Renegade Ball 50 cal really taking off. I mean, is it going to be the next Walmart gun? I hope not. But at least with 50 cal definitely has a market with the with Renegade ball, and people that are just looking to buy a couple of guns to go out on their own property and have a good time. And since it marks a lot smaller, there's going to be less cleanup, less damage to the environment, stuff like that. But am I, do I think that if you're playing 50 caliber, are you doing the work of Satan? Well, maybe a little bit. No, I don't. It's nothing to be worried about. If you don't like it, just don't buy it. Okay, you need the complete system before you even think about shooting 50 cal. You need to have a gun that's 50 cal compatible, and you need a loader that's going to be 50 cal compatible. And if you don't have either one of those, you're not going to be playing 50 cal. So if you just don't like it, just don't support it with your dollars. That's easy. No one's going to force it on you. You're not going to ever have to go to the field and that's all they use. And you're not going to have to worry about going to a scenario game and 50 cal is all they're going to be used. It's going to be an alternative, and that's it. I'll tell you, here in Florida, the biggest thing that I noticed with playing with 50 cal out here in Florida is the heat. With Formula 13, and this is probably going to be the case with most 50 cal because it's less mass, once the ball gets above about 80 degrees, and that seemed about the sweet spot. Once it goes about 80, maybe even 85 degrees, the balls get a lot more bouncier, okay? Anybody that's played in the heat knows this and stuff like that. So I did something when I was out there at the field that worked out really well. Now, some people are going to say, well, this is too much of a hassle, but on the same token, you're getting, for just slightly more, this holds, what looks like a normal case of paint. Let me get a normal case of paint. Okay, this is evil. Okay, so this is a normal case of paint. This is a case of 50 cal, but here's what most people are not realizing. Okay, if you can read right there, what does that say? 4,000 count. Okay, there's 4,000 round bags in here, and also some styrofoam peanuts because it still don't pack everything that's in the box. There's 4,000 rounds in a case of Formula 13 50 caliber paint. Okay, so I don't know if they're starting to sell paintballs in 2,000, but it looks like this is going to be the best way, or this is going to be how 50 cal is going to be sold, is going to be in a normal case. So everyone's going to be like, well, I saw that it's $60. Well, yeah, it holds 4,000. Okay, it says right on there in the box. There's 4,000 paintballs in here. But anyway, what I did was, and I had probably the best day of shooting 50 cal that I've had so far, was I took this, and about 4 or 5 days before I was going out there to play, I put it in the refrigerator. Okay, then what I did was, while I was here at the house, in order to keep the humidity down, to keep the problems of condensation down and stuff like that, the night before, what I did was I took them and I filled my pods up here at the house, and then put all of my pods into the refrigerator. And I kind of recommend doing it here at the house this way, because usually in your house the humidity, because your air is conditioned, the humidity is going to be a lot lower. So opening up the pod, pouring the 50 cal paintballs in there, closing it up, is going to reduce the chance of you getting condensation inside there. Now here's what I did. I've got like a little cooler. This is like a little wine bag. And basically what I did was I took one of these right here. This is from, I think I got this from Coleman, or I bought it at Walmart or something like that. But it's basically like reusable eyes. I just took this, put it in the freezer, and then what I did was I put it at the bottom of the cooler, and then put a towel on top of it. Then what I did was I put all of my pods that I had in there. I think I brought like 10 pods out for the day, which adds up to 3,500 rounds. It's about two cases of normal paint. And I kept my pods nice and cool all day long. The paint broke on everything. I didn't have any problems with bounces or anything like that. I was hitting people left and right. People were still saying, oh, I didn't really feel the hit. I thought it bounced, but it was breaking on people and it was marking on people like crazy. Everybody that I shot at was getting hit. Latest video that you see me moving up the field, taking people out left and right, and I was doing it with 50 cal. But I made sure that the paint was kept nice and cool, and I also took extra steps to make sure that condensation didn't get in there. So, that's what I think of it so far. It's an alternative. You don't like it, you don't like it, okay? I think it's for Renegade ball, I think it's a great idea. I think for maybe an indoor 3-man field, I think it's a great idea. For most paintball players, I don't think it's the format for them. Most paintball players, by tradition, are very conservative players. I probably wouldn't say 99%, probably between 90 and 95% of the players are not hyper-aggressive players. If you are if you are a hyper-aggressive player, come on over to TechPB. We're hyper-aggressive players. So, I will also say that if they started offering it in scenario games, I'd also be all over it. Especially my job in scenario games as a front player, is most of the time a suppressive fire. So I typically in scenario games, I shoot more paint to hold players back and to hold back a charge to maintain the ground that I'm in, more than trying to really eliminate people. So I'm more interested in just trying to keep them back. I'd be all over 50 cal with that. Go out there with a 90 cubic inch tank and be able to shoot, 5,000 rounds. I'd be all over that. So I definitely know that there are going to be some more loaders that are coming out. There's nothing really wrong with the Kingman Rapid loader. It shoots a consistent 15 balls per second. But obviously, if we got a loader that holds a little bit more, maybe if Pinocchio comes out with a 50 cal loader and the Prophecy with a 50 cal loader comes out, that'll be really cool. But yeah, I just wanted to do a quick show and just follow up all about it. There's a lot of people that are just anti 50 cal. That's fine. No one, I tell you right now, no one's going to give you a 50 cal setup. And no one's going to give you a 50 cal loader and 50 cal paint to go out there and play. You got to buy all of it. I had to buy all of mine. So, but it's, is it a fun format? Yeah, it's a lot of fun. For a front player in X-Ball, it's really fun. Suppressive fire in scenario games, I'll be all over it. I just need somebody to build me an Apex barrel for it. I would probably use only 50 cal in scenario games if I was able to get an Apex barrel for this thing. But I think that's about it so far. Like I said, I was getting a lot of questions about it, so I just want to do a quick video, do a quick rant, and get some fresh content up on there on the Tech TV channel. We got a bunch of stuff coming up down the pipe, so you guys will be looking forward to it. But I just want to do a follow-up show on 50 cal, see if I can maybe answer a little bit more questions. Thanks for tuning in.